Hello. Hello, everybody. I get to be the one to get everybody to sit down so we can get some things going. Don't make me look right at you, Dylan. Hello. If we could take our seats and get this started, that would be awesome. I know everybody's busy. Your phone. Has anybody seen Dr. Deming's phone? Anyone? Folder. Oh, that. We don't need his phone. Huh? Okay, we have a few stragglers. Can we get sitting down, please? Okay, are we ready? Dr. Deming is going to make me use my outside voice, and that is going to scare every single one of you. So it's probably better if we do it now. Thank you, everybody. Welcome, everybody. On behalf of Above and Beyond Cancer, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming here today to support us and to celebrate some truly amazing people. I'm Kelly Shaw, and I can personally speak to what a great organization Above and Beyond Cancer is, as I am a breast cancer survivor. In fact, this year marks my 5 years clear of cancer, and that is certainly something to celebrate. Thank you. Thank you. I became involved with Above and Beyond Cancer after meeting Mary Van Hoekelum at an event. I had no idea who Above and Beyond Cancer was, and after the dinner that we had attended, she approached me and told me that I needed to join them on a trip to Tibet. I thought it was a little bit odd that she was asking me to join her and an organization that I'd never heard of to go halfway around the world with. But if there was one thing I had learned from having had cancer, it was that I have one life to live, and I need to live that to the fullest. I asked a few questions, one being, when does the trip leave? She said August 28th. Well, that was my 45th birthday. So that sealed the deal for me, and I thought that it was a great way to start my 45th year of life. So I began my journey with Above and Beyond Cancer and began preparing for the trip to Tibet. What a journey that was. I'd have to say it was very eye-opening to see how a country different from ours treats cancer and the lack of facilities and treatments that they have to care for people. I could see that it was good for me just to sit and to listen to their stories, as there was a lot of suffering that was going on. I felt really good about being there to listen, but it was also a mixed bag for me because as we left, we really hadn't put a dent in anything that we had done for them as to what they needed. Then we started on our trip, and there were stories of hiking, camping, Sherpas, an almost death experience on a bus ride with a collapsing road, and so much more that we'll have to wait for another day. Upon my return to the United States, I have had the pleasure of being a part of many of the programs that Above and Beyond Cancer provides, and I have enjoyed every single one of them. I really would love to talk more about those programs, but apparently they only give me a really short amount of time to talk, and I promise you, you're going to hear more about those later. Quite frankly, as much as I love to talk, I'm surprised that anyone even gave me a microphone. So before they rip me away from it, I would like to introduce our next speaker. The man that I am about to introduce, I have had the pleasure of traveling 2 continents with. And let me tell you, I've got some stories. Again, another day. However, I can say this: his passion for life is very clear. If not for him, none of us would be here today, as Above and Beyond Cancer would not exist. Please join me in welcoming the founder of Above and Beyond Cancer, Dr. Richard Deming.
It's a great day to be alive. And hello, everyone, and welcome. I have only had a chance to say hi to about a fourth of you, and I apologize if I don't get a chance to chat with you, but this organization would not exist if it weren't for you. So thank you all for being here. And what a beautiful day. We're going to have another 60-degree day in Iowa in November. The last time we had one, I said, well, we're not going to see this again till May of 2022. But hey, Mama Donna, I haven't even said hi. So my job right now is to just do a little reflection before we eat lunch. And part of it is recognizing a fellowship, beauty, nature. Such a beautiful day. I hope you get out and visit one of Des Moines' beautiful city parks, or get out today and go visit one of the Polk County Conservation Parks, Jester Park, Easter Lake Park. Go on the Riverwalk. Stop and visit the Robert Ray Asian Gardens today. It would be beautiful to do that, or the Botanical Gardens. Get out in nature. You know, we've all been kind of cooped up for a year or so. We have faced a lot of adversity. We have been fearful for what the world was going to bring. And I always find that nature can bring solace. And so what I'm going to do as a reflection, a little grace before lunch, is share a poem with you. And this is a poem that really spoke to me loudly during the year of the pandemic, as I was able to get outside into nature and realize the blessings that come from that. This is a poem called The Peace of Wild Things, and it's by Kentucky farmer poet Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives might be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. Have a great lunch. We'll be back up here shortly with the program. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, they allowed me to come back up here. So I know you're all excited, but continue to eat. And I want to talk about the book that everybody has on their table. You've all been eating, probably haven't had a chance to look through it, but I would encourage you to do so because it truly is a moving book. It speaks to caregivers, survivors, family members, and friends. The reflections that you will read about are a true testament to what people face when they hear the words, "You have cancer." Yet they also apply to life and what it throws at every single one of us every single day. The stories are about love, compassion, community, encouragement, and also some struggle and suffering. What I love about the book is that it is someone that is telling a piece of their story to help another person. It is not just another cancer book. As we enter the season of spending time with our family and friends, which for me is super exciting, I can tell you, we really encourage you to gift this book to someone that you know. I think it's a reminder that we need to live every day to its fullest and that no matter what life throws at you, you're certainly not alone. It's also safe to say that we all need reminders of how precious life really is. I would also like to add, where's Dylan? Where's Dylan? Right over there. The photography that is in this book is all by him, and it is phenomenal. The copies. There's even a picture of me in there that makes me look really good. So I commend him for that one. The copies that are at your table are signed by Dr. Richard Deming, and they are selling for $100. Every single penny of that sale goes back to Above and Beyond Cancer and the programs that they have to optimize living for cancer survivors and caregivers. As you know, Above and Beyond Cancer is an organization that is unlike any other. And to continue to provide the programs that they do, we have to have the donations and sponsorships from people. Now, with that, I would like to introduce our next speaker. For the past 3 years, he has been the executive director of Above and Beyond Cancer. And I lost my other page. So he's been the executive director of Above and Beyond Cancer. And prior to that, he was on the Above and Beyond Cancer board. I think more importantly, he is also a cancer survivor. Everybody, please welcome Chris Goodale.
Thank you, Kelly. What a great honor it is to be up here, and it's so wonderful to see everybody here. We really appreciate it. As Dick said, we are what we are today because of all of you. And as Kelly mentioned, I was on the board for several years, and all the board members are listed in your program. So please take the time to look through that for a couple reasons. One, this took a lot of work, and it turned out great. And the board members put in a lot of time. We meet 6 times a year, and then each of those board members are also on a separate committee. We've created 7 different committees that meet every month, and it's a very much a working board. These 21 people really put their hearts and souls into our organization. There's also emeriti board members listed that really were at the beginning of our organization's start and founding. And some of them are here today. So if you see them, please say thank you to them. We have a small staff, as it outlines. There's just 3 of us. Mary, who will be up next, was here from the very beginning. As Kelly said, I started 3 years ago, and then Melinda Bain just started this past summer, and she's helping with our development and our outreach. So as the executive director, I'll also point to the back of the program. And if you want to provide a gift by Venmo, you can sure do that. There are also envelopes at your table. If you'd like to provide a gift, you can do it that way, or we'll be glad to take your credit card back at the vending station after this. So lots of ways to give. We have been helped today. Kelly Shaw, that you met already, is part of our committee. We started a committee this year just to help out, and they've done a great job. They're also listed, and as are all the table sponsors, which you can see as you look around. So the board members have really been dedicated through the COVID period. We've been meeting online. I do recall the first meeting we had on Zoom, one of the board members was out on her patio, and I thought that she seemed very relaxed. And then when I realized she kept dipping out of the screen, and then she forgot to dip out of the screen the one time she brought her giant margarita in to have a little drink. So we try not to take it too seriously, even though we know cancer can be a very serious thing. So we have really some impressive people today as far as award recipients, and it is striking some of the challenges that these award recipients have gone through, and Dr. Deming will talk more about that, which will be great. The programs that we've developed, the weekly programs that we've developed, have really become sort of the staple of what we do as Above and Beyond Cancer. And when I started, for example, in September of 18, there was actually an international journey at that time. That was a 3-week journey. There were 20 people on that journey, and what great stories they were able to tell when they came back of really life-changing activities. But in those 3 weeks, when back here at home, we served a couple hundred people in our weekly programs. So that's really where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. And the person who has been driving that for the last 10 years has been Mary Van Hukelum, our program director, and she's going to talk more about those programs now. Mary?
Thank you, Chris. Friends, thanks for joining us this year. Your support really means a lot to us. As program director, I get to co-lead and co-create classes and meet many amazing humans. I want to share a few program highlights. And to shake things up a bit, I thought we'd play a little game. Have you heard of silent disco? No, it's not that. Shoo. I'm going to call this game silent trivia. So as you suspect, I'm going to ask a question. You think of your response quietly, and in this game, everybody wins. Ready? First question. True or false? We offer 12 ongoing programs. That is true. As you can see from the slides, we have a variety of weekly and monthly programs that serve survivors and caregivers. Many of these are evidence-based, which means we administer pre- and post-assessments to track progress of the participants and show efficacy of our programs, and this process allows us to meet each participant where they are. This past year and a half, we have created more outdoor programs to provide a safer environment during these changing times. Hike and Yoga is one example, which meets every Tuesday morning all year round, rain, snow, or shine, minus the derecho. Another one is Urban Pole Walking, which is an evidence-based program, which happens to be our fastest growing program this last year. Just over a year ago, I received an email from a new friend named Brian. Brian, a survivor, was a couple weeks post-treatment and surgery and was asking about coming to Hike and Yoga. We discussed modifications, and over time, I saw Brian grow stronger in his walking and in friendship. This last February, we launched our evidence-based urban pole walking program, and Brian was also part of that first pilot group. Just shy of 4 months, Brian's first post-assessment showed improvements in every category that we assessed: resting heart rate, balance, body fat, muscle gain. His strength had improved by 75% and walking gait 40%. One sunny afternoon, Brian says to me, "I credit Above and Beyond Cancer and my own moxie to getting healthy again." My friend is in this room today. Brian, would you like to wave or stand? Awesome. Second question, true or false? Our programs only serve the Des Moines metro community. False, yes. Some people are saying it out loud. They're so excited. Over the last year, we have really expanded our virtual and hybrid offerings, which include cooking classes, book club, the cancer education series, yoga, meditation, now Qigong, and total training. These programs all can be accessed through Zoom, YouTube, Facebook Live. We have people attending on a regular basis from as far as Utah, Michigan, Indianapolis, other towns in Iowa like Clinton, Cedar Falls, Montezuma, Glenwood, Perry, and Winterset. I could go on and on. These diverse programs are reaching survivors, caregivers, their families, and their friends. With the increase of our virtual presence, coupled with our face-to-face programs over the past 10 years, our outreach is now in the thousands. Last winter, I got another email out of the blue from a survivor named Becky. She heard about the small group personal training class that we are offering through Zoom twice a week and wanted to get involved. Becky, for the next 8 weeks, attended every Zoom class. Her post-assessments were also off the charts, again, improving in every category possible. Becky said to me, "I was feeling isolated, extremely depressed, overweight, and not motivated. I reached out to Above and Beyond Cancer knowing that I needed something to get me back on track. Within 8 weeks, I was feeling good about myself, moving, motivated, and learning to live and work with my new normal. The more I speak about it, the more I find myself healing. Above and Beyond Cancer has given me my life back, and I feel like I have purpose again." Question 3, true or false? Zip code is a major factor in longevity. Sadly, true. Our organization is aware of the factors that affect global and community health inequities, and we continue to make our programs free and scholarship and geographically diverse. We offer home visits when preferred. We are coordinating with hospitals to offer video tutorials of restorative practices like chair yoga and meditation so survivors can tap into support while at the clinic or at home. We will continue to build our own awareness and strive to remove obstacles to serve a diverse community and narrowing the gap of health equity. Last and final pop quiz question. We are no longer accepting donations. That is a farce. For the record, I'm quite certain our development director and Chris would be glad to accept your donations so we can continue to spread our outreach. Perhaps you are being called to volunteer, share your light, and nurture a human need to give back. And in my opinion, most importantly, get involved in our programs. And perhaps you may cultivate more of your optimal well-being. Our programs are open to everybody, cancer survivors and those who have not been diagnosed with cancer. So to stay on top of our fun events, I invite you to sign up for our newsletter, check out the calendar on our website, or follow us on social media and come and join us. So I'd like to summarize my program spiel with something Brian also said to me. This organization is more than changing a muscle and fat ratio. It's how you exist in the world with the rest of the world. It's joyful. I feel like I have been given permission again to experience joy and share it. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to turn this over to one of my favorite people, my friend, our founder, our visionary, the king of compassion, hugs, and some comic relief, Dr. Deming.
Give it up for Mary. She rocks. She has been with us from the very, very, very beginning, before we even called ourselves Above and Beyond Cancer. And yes, you did hear her say our programs are open to anyone. You don't have to have had a cancer diagnosis. Why is that? We've all been touched by cancer, and getting involved in these programs can help prevent you from getting cancer. Still in the United States, tobacco is the #1 modifiable risk factor to cause cancer. #2, obesity, inactivity, and too many calories. So that's why we didn't serve you many calories today. But seriously, getting involved in vigorous physical activity in nature and fellowship will actually reduce the chances of you getting cancer. So you're all invited to be part of our programming. So I get to do the fun part. I get to do the award. So what is an Above and Beyond Cancer Award? Well, it's kind of what it says, living above and beyond. And not just living above and beyond for your own purpose, but actually living above and beyond and doing something good for other people along the way. Last year, we had an Above and Beyond celebration, but it was just Zoom, which was okay. But we wanted to give our last year's winners a chance to stand up and soak in some joy. So let me just say briefly about our last year's winners. Morgan Newman. Morgan, are you here today? If you are, I invite you to stand up. There she is. Morgan is a survivor, and she spells survivor CERVIVOR because she is a survivor of stage 4 cervix cancer. And not only is she a survivor, but she was an award winner because she's taken the journey that she has been on and is on with stage 4 cervix cancer and is paying it forward and helping to advocate for changing health system, improving access. We've been together at Capitol Hill, and for that, Morgan was last year's Above and Beyond Cancer Survivor Award winner. Thank you, Morgan. And next, Molly Zaver. Molly, are you here? Molly, stand up. Molly is the creator. Yes, give it up for Molly. Can Do Cancer. So Molly was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012, and not only does she live her own life above and beyond, but she took the experience she had from her journey, understanding there's a lot of things that patients going through cancer need that are not chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and surgery. They need people to help them with laundry and meals and childcare. And she created the organization Can Do Cancer. And for that, Molly and Can Do Cancer won last year's Above and Beyond Cancer Award. Thank you, Molly and Can Do Cancer. And now for this year's winners. We have 3 winners. And number 1, we'd like to honor Mission Cancer and Blood. Mission Cancer and Blood is a group of medical oncologists. William Osler, one of the great physicians, said, "A good physician cares for the disease. A great physician cares for the patient." And Mission Cancer and Blood is comprised of great physicians. In May of 1981, Dr. Tom Baroker and Bob Schreck joined together in Des Moines to start the medical oncology group. Within 2 years, Mark Westberg and Dr. Rocky Morton joined, and with Dr. Baroker and Schreck, they formed what was then known as Medical Oncology and Hematology Associates. In 2020, it has changed its name to Mission Cancer and Blood, but they still provide this service that is just unparalleled. They have quietly been serving those with cancer and blood disorders in all of Central Iowa's major medical facilities. They partner with John Stoddard Cancer Center at Unity Point and Mercy One Cancer Center, and they work closely with those organizations to provide the best care for patients. The level of cancer care they provide with evidence-based treatments, tumor boards, genetic counseling, clinical trials matches the care you can get anywhere in Iowa. It's a team of oncology professionals that care about their patients. It's about relationships. It's not just about giving chemotherapy. It's not about killing cancer cells. It's about caring for patients and their families. Developing lifelong relationships with patients enables Mission Cancer and Blood to have a deeper understanding of their patients' needs and to be able to take better care of them. Oncologists caring for patients are human beings caring for human beings. And to accept the award today is CEO of Mission Cancer and Blood, Phil Stover, also a cancer survivor. Phil.
So I promised to keep it short. Chris made me promise that I would keep it short. I joked with my team that I only had 24 slides, and I'll try to go as fast as I can through them. Don't hold that against me. In fact, my first boss, Charles Cutler, and people don't know this, but Chuck Cutler, where is Chuck? He was my first boss after graduating law school. And there was I don't know if I've shared this story. I'm going off track already. On Friday afternoons, if you were in the law firm and an associate, you avoided Chuck like no other person because he might just single-handedly just destroy your weekend. So, little fun story about Chuck. But honestly, and we are honored and humbled, and on behalf of the physicians and the whole team at Mission Cancer and Blood, thank you. Can't say the honored and humbled part enough to be recognized by this great organization. We're not only proud to accept the award, we're proud of our partnership with Above and Beyond Cancer and how it continues to evolve and grow. But really, the real people that need to be honored are some folks that are with us today. And I did not tell them that I was going to do this, but I'm going to make them stand up. They are the folks that what Dr. Deming was talking about earlier, as far as the relentless care towards patients. This is the group that makes that happen. So I'm going to name them off real quick, and I want them to stand up. Jane's giving me a look right now. Jane is the clinical operations officer. Please stand. Katie Beecher, if you can hold your applause for 1 second, I'll get through everybody. Katie Murray, she's married now, is our CFO. Elena Kroll is in charge of all of our in-office dispensing. Jasmine Malone is in charge of our patient access. She's the one that makes sure patients are greeted with smiles at all ends of their journey. Donna Bauer is with us today. She joined us this summer. She is now taking on forming an HR department, which is long overdue. Kyle Hainfield is with us. He is our IT director. Corey Wilson, the mission pharmacist. Marcy is not with us today. Mara Faltzgraf, stand up over there. Mara is in charge of our lab. Julie Dunham handles all of our provider enrollment, and with the explosion and growth of our APP team, she's been very busy. Jean Moffitt is on our referrals team, Kim Held, and then Kim Springer. These folks are truly who I work for every day. They keep us relentlessly, sometimes tenaciously focused on the care with the patients. Like Dr. Deming said, it's beyond the numbers. The numbers don't mean anything. They're the ones that keep us always on the right track. So honor all them with a warm round of applause. And thank you, Dr.
All right. Our next award recipient is Maria Steele. Hey, Maria. So in December of 2019, Maria and her family's world changed a little bit. Maria was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, never smoked in her life. In the process of learning what her diagnosis was and embarking on treatment that included radiation therapy and oral targeted therapy for EGFR cancer, she has been living her life to the fullest. But you don't get an above and beyond cancer award just by living your life to the fullest. You get an award by taking the wisdom that you learn in your journey and using it not just to illuminate your own path forward, but to use it to illuminate the path of others and make a difference in others' lives. And that's what she's done since being diagnosed in December of 2019. She learned that her cancer is almost certainly caused by radon. Radon, we sit here in Iowa on just a bed of radon. It's not climate change that caused it. It's not pollution that caused it. It's deep within the earth, but it comes up. It's odorless, and it is invisible, and it is in our homes, and it is a leading cause of lung cancer in Iowa. She learned about it. She tested her home, learned that her radon level was high, mitigated the home, but then has gone out and has educated the public about the risks of radon. Her op-ed was featured in the Des Moines Register as she tells her story. And again, her story with the idea of illuminating the paths of others, teaching them to test their homes and to mitigate. And she and her husband, Pat, are just, she's also a nurse practitioner. So she's been on both sides of the stethoscope. And she and her husband, Pat, and their family are just avid outdoors folks. And they have bicycled in every state. They've bicycled in every county. On November 7th, she rode 82 miles on the Raccoon River Trail. Her husband, not to be outdone, did his very first century ride and put in 100 miles that day. But again, the reason that Maria is deserving of this award is the way that she is using her wisdom and her journey to help others. And with that, we welcome Maria Steele to the stage. All right, it's all yours, Maria.
Thanks. Okay. Can everybody hear me? Mom, can you hear me?
Hi, Mom.
She was like, I can't hear that guy. So I want to make sure everybody can hear me. So, wow, this is amazing. I am so honored to be here. And thank you, Dr. Deming and company, for this award. And it's kind of crazy to think I wouldn't even be standing here if I hadn't been diagnosed with cancer. You know, whose wish is that? No one's. But it has been a blessing of sorts. I know that sounds crazy. But if I didn't know about this, again, I wouldn't be standing here. I wouldn't be trying to advocate and teach people about the dangers of radon in this state. And I'll be brief about that. But
Dr. Deming is correct. The whole state of Iowa is in a swath of red, meaning that there's heavy concentrations of radon. And the EPA has said that almost 3/4 of the residential homes in Iowa have high levels of radon. So if you have not tested your home, you can buy a $15 kit at any hardware store. Look at the fire extinguishers. It should be there. Go home, test your home, and if it needs to be mitigated, it needs to be mitigated. And I wish I had done that. So again, I was a never smoker, and to say that I have lung cancer, stage 4, I had to have radiation to my brain because of brain mets, and I have bone mets, and I mean, it's crazy to think about. But again, I don't wake up every day thinking I have cancer. I wake up every day thinking I got a lot to do today, you know? So I credit a lot of people. I credit my faith. I credit the people who are sitting at our table. So many people that I care about are here, that I've met through having cancer. I know that sounds crazy, but so many good people. So I've got my mom, my husband, Pat, of 43 years. So that kind of ages me, I guess, but that's okay. I'm just glad to be alive. Our kids, Zach and Val, and their spouses, Reed and Emily. My work family, a part of my work family is here. A couple of the physicians I used to work with, and a very good friend of mine, Karen Lucan, also a nurse practitioner. We sat side by side many early mornings. So many people. Okay, so Zach and Emily's daughter, Penelope, is 1.5 years. She's a lot of fun, and we watch her 3 days a week. So Dr. Deming got to know Penelope because at the Elevate Festival 2 years ago, he walked with us as we pushed Penelope in the stroller, and she truly is a joy, and finally is calling me something, and that something is Gaga. I know, just like Sylvie. So not only my family's here, I've got in-laws here. Jane and Carrie drove over from Cedar Rapids. I've got nurse friends that I used to work in the ER with that drove over from Cedar Rapids, and neighbors here, and people that I've come to know through just this diagnosis. So I want to thank them all for coming and supporting me. And then I have my medical team. I've got Dr. Behrens, who, that first visit, I said, I've been Googling some stuff, and I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what kind of time do I have left? I mean, I was a GI nurse practitioner. I didn't know anything about lung cancer. And so he told me, Maria, the average person in your situation with brain mets, bone mets, has a year. And I'm like, no way. I mean, that doesn't seem right. So I know from being in the medical world, because I would have my patients say, if we diagnose them with colon cancer, how long do I live? And I would say my crystal ball is in the shop. I don't know. But, it's just given me an opportunity to be thankful. And, I with Above and Beyond Cancer, almost every Tuesday morning, and I want to give a shout out to Mary Van Huculum. I know she was up here. There she is. I mean, we do this hike every Tuesday morning, rain or shine. And you realize walking with these people, a 2-mile hike through the woods out in nature, as Dr. Deming said, you realize you're not alone, and you have other people to talk to and to share their stories. And it's just a wonderful thing. And that's what Above and Beyond Cancer has meant to me, is it's allowed me to meet other people and to share joy. And our very first meeting with Dr. Deming, he asked me what brought me joy. And so, it makes you think. And he goes, you need to think about that, Maria. And not only what brings you joy, but once you need to spread joy. So I try to do that. There's always good things to find, either in people, in situations. Because nobody wants to come to a pity party, right? And I'm not saying I don't have down days, who doesn't? But yet, I'm not the only one. There are hundreds, thousands of people with cancer. And it's an organization like Above and Beyond that addresses not just a diagnosis, not just the fact that, and here's the medicine you're going to take, and here's the radiation that you need, and you're going to need follow-up scans, and this might make you feel terrible. Right along with that, he tells me about Above and Beyond Cancer and how they look for, or they work helping you to understand what cancer is to your body, mind, and spirit, because we're more than a diagnosis. We're a person. What are our resources and all that. And so I really am so thankful and grateful for a company, an organization like Above and Beyond Cancer. And that's why this award, when you called me, I was a little surprised, but I appreciate that. And yes, in the program, there's something about a blog that we have, and I have to thank our daughter-in-law, Emily, for helping me get that going. I'm not that techie, but it's been a way to, and actually it was even before I was diagnosed. It's called Aging with Energy, because I'm thinking, I like to read about this stuff and what should I do with this information? And there's so much negative stuff about getting older. I mean, how many catheter and Depends commercials can you see on TV without thinking, this is not what aging should be? I mean, I get it that some people may need those things, but I'm like, we got to spread a good positive thing about aging. And so that's what we try to do with our blog. No commercials. We don't make money off our blog. It's just stories. So, and actually, we just had an interview, our guest Q&A with Dr. Deming. So if you want to hear about an amazing guy and what he has done, look at that blog. Because,
Or if you just want to see somebody aging.
or if you want to see somebody aging, yes. So anyway, I am very grateful to the people that are here and the people that contribute to Above and Beyond Cancer. It makes a difference, and Mary, you're always so positive. Chris Goodell, you're an amazing executive director. My husband and I got to meet Chris on the transformational journey. Is that what it's called, right? And so you hear about all these things, and you'll hear about the journey coming up, right? I mean, there's another group that you're going to recognize. I mean, he tells me about this group that's going to not Tibet. It was the Himalayas, or where was it going to go that year until COVID hit?
Africa.
It was going to go to Africa. So he's like, well, you can come with us to Africa. And I said, well, we have to finish bicycling in every state first. That's our first goal. But again, it was just so exciting to hear about the organization. So again, very grateful. And it's wonderful to see you all here. There were some high school friends that surprised me. Actually, Sister Judith from Dowling High School is in the house. And my mom said, do you know Sister Judith? I said, Mom, I wasn't in trouble, so I didn't know Sister Judith at Dowling High School. I mean, I knew of you, sister. Sorry. So
Sister, did you bring your ruler?
So anyway, again, thank you for this award. It's very meaningful. So.
Thank you, Maria. What an amazing person. I've had the opportunity to get to know Maria and Pat, and not only in the clinic, but we wrote a bit on Ragbri, and we might have had a beer together, and we did in May, a couple of my buddies, we hooked up with Maria and Pat, and they showed us the Raccoon River Trail, and we did that. So living life to the fullest and helping others along the way. Our last recipient is a group. Do you know this is our birthday? We are 10 years old, Above and Beyond Cancer. Yeah, happy birthday, Above and Beyond Cancer. So 10 years ago in 2011, we didn't know we were even, we weren't a 501c3 then. It was just Dr. Deming taking some cancer patients on a journey to the Himalayas. And a group of 14 cancer survivors and 15 caregivers came together to journey to Mount Everest Base Camp. And I have to give a shout out to Charlie Whitmack. There were a lot of things that happened that time that brought everything together. Part of it was my own experience as a mountain climber and having been to the Himalayas. I was first there in the year 2000. No altruism. It was just me signing up for a mountain climbing trip. But after I was there, I realized this can change one's life. And out of a series of just coincidences, Charlie Whitmack was getting ready to do the World Triathlon that was going to culminate in summiting Everest. And he said, you know what? You should bring along a group of your cancer survivors and meet us at Everest Base Camp. And I said, yeah, I should do that. I should do that. And I never got around to doing it, but the word was out there. And Lynn Hicks is here, so I got to give a shout out to Lynn Hicks. You cannot acknowledge Above and Beyond Cancer without Lynn Hicks. Lynn Hicks at that time, Lynn, stand up. Where are you? Lynn was the editor of BizBuzz, so the business editor at the Des Moines Register. And we were out at Prairie Meadows Ballroom, and it was the Greater Des Moines Business Hall of Fame. And he came up to me and he said, Dr. Deming, I've heard rumors that you're taking a group of your patients to Everest Base Camp. Is that true? And I said, yes. And he put it in the newspaper the next day. I mean, for months I had been vacillating. Oh, I can't do it. Can I do it? Can I take the time off? Am I going to do it? I'm not going to do it. Oh my God, you never get anything done if you've got one foot in and one foot out. And when it was in the newspaper, both feet were in and we had to get it done. And if we could go to the next slide, we're going to see the group that actually did the trip. And this next award, Above and Beyond Cancer, is really in honor of the folks that went to Everest Base Camp. And this was before Above and Beyond was known, and the individuals went on this trip. The courage they had to go with a group that never done anything. I mean, you're going to go with your doctor to Everest Base Camp who's never led a group to any mountain at all. So the courage and confidence they had was just tremendous. I knew it was going to change the lives of everyone on the trip, but I didn't have a clue of the ripple effect. So before we get the gang up here that had the courage and confidence to do this first trip, they were on this trip. What was the commonality? Number one, none of them were mountain climbers. Number two, none of them had climbing Everest on their bucket list. They were on the journey not in spite of their cancer. They were on this journey because of their cancer, because of the courage and confidence they had gained, the knowledge of their strength they'd gained through their cancer journey that allowed them to sign up for this trip. They didn't know if they could climb a mountain, but they knew that trying to climb a mountain with a group of fellow survivors was going to be incredibly transformative. So if IT and AV work, we're going to see a movie. I think we might have to back up one slide. Who's got the clicker? Where is the clicker? I guess I'll do it here. Don't know where the clicker went. Oh, there we go. It's working.
When I got the phone call asking if I wanted to go to Mount Everest, I didn't know what to think. This is Dr. Deming. I'm taking a group of cancer survivors to trek to Everest Base Camp, and I have funding to pay the way.
This is we're putting together this trip to go to Nepal. Would you like to go? I was like, yes, absolutely. Of course, that was just still pipe dream.
Hey, let's go to Kathmandu! We took 3 weeks to fly over to Kathmandu, toured Kathmandu, immersed ourselves into the culture, and then headed out to Lukla, where we began a 13-day hike up to Everest Base Camp and back down. For the next 13 days, we're going to be on foot.
The idea of going halfway around the world with a group of people that I really didn't know kept me awake at night. I thought, what in the world am I doing?
I didn't want to sugarcoat how demanding the trip was going to be, but I also wanted not to make it so terrifying survivors who couldn't do it would want to.
Going over those bridges in the fall was the hardest thing ever. They swing when you walk on them, and the more people that gets on them, the more swinging they do. And I would kind of halfway close my eyes and just tell myself that I can do this, I can do this.
To fall down, and I remember thinking if I fell down like that, I would just lay there and be done. She instantly, before she hit the ground, I'm okay, and she would stand back up and just continue.
I'd say, I'm fine. You can go, Kathy. I'm okay.
It was like, oh, Kathy, we're almost there. Just one more step, keep going, we can do this. She didn't get down, I don't think, one iota. She was an inspiration to me because she smiled in that face of adversity.
They would say, Kathy, give me your backpack. No, I got it, I can carry it. Oh, no, give me your backpack. No, I got it, I can carry it.
With you, Kathy, what the hell?
You know, it got very scary for me, and there was moments that once I got to the end of the trail, I would be in tears.
Once you're done with all of your treatments, you're cut loose from your doctors, and then you do kind of feel like you're alone. You feel like you're maybe cast adrift because there is no more connection with anybody that really understands what's going on. My favorite sound, laughing.
Being a mental health counselor, I think I really value the group experience. When you get done with treatment, everyone assumes you're well. The casseroles stop. Everyone goes back to their life, and they want you to do so too. And it's hard to go to your spouse or to your kids or talk to your friends about it because they've moved on. You know, they're like, you're well. But you know that your life has changed. There were those days when maybe you weren't feeling your best, somebody took your hand or offered you a kind word, and then the next day you were kind of kicking butts and you were offering that kind word and that hand to somebody else.
So Teresa, did you touch it? We're so close to Amadal, but you can touch it.
It just seemed like we'd never get there, and it was cold, we were tired. It's like it's so close, it's right there.
Great job, Teresa. Great job.
Probably the most powerful for me was watching Kathy come in, understanding how tremendously hard those last yards must have been for her.
There you go. Kathy, you rock!
We are at base camp. We did it. It was harder than hell, but we made it.
Base camp in the day is an unassuming place, but at night, it's just transformed into this magical place.
The moon was casting this beautiful light over all the ice.
I don't know how to explain it in words. It was just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, thank you for all the prayers and the support. And I just want the world to know that a cancer diagnosis does not have to be the end of your world. I guess that's the main thing I would say.
The next morning was a special morning for us because we had carried up 350 prayer flags. And so we strung them up, furled in that Nepali breeze.
Seeing the faces on the flags of patients of mine who had lost their lives to cancer. My mom, who had lost her life to cancer, friends. And that setting, it was like we were in a cathedral.
And they stood for as long as it took us to do the highest ever held Relay for Life.
And a Relay for Life is a ceremony of celebration, remembrance, and fight back.
Like we had been doing that for 3 weeks, right? That was pretty meaningful, a fight back thing, because it's like, yeah, we're gonna keep fighting this until we find a cure.
It's not getting to the top that matters. It's everything you learn about yourself along the way. And that's where the confidence and courage and teamwork really begin.
It was just so enjoyable to come back with friends and families and people you're going to probably know for the rest of the remainder of your life.
I think that there were bonds formed on that trip that will last, forever. Last week, we visited Justin Anderson, and he had his first MRI scan follow-up after all his treatments have been concluded.
We were sitting with his parents when he came into the doctor's office, and his expression was it was wonderful. I mean, it's exactly why we went up there.
When I came walking out of the MRI, they were there in the waiting room, and they went in to hear the results of the MRI with me, and it was awesome. It was a great feeling to know that they were there with me. We have a special bond that I'm not sure if anybody else on this board.
We were very conscious of what we were trying to accomplish in terms of having an experience that was going to open our eyes to a new culture. It was going to be something that would be rich and meaningful, and it just was overwhelming to me how it had all come to fruition.
There is hope, there is life beyond cancer. There is celebration of life beyond cancer. There is adventure.
Things that come difficultly, that are won through a hard fight, are really valid. And that's part of the legacy of this trip.
Much of Above and Beyond Cancer is bittersweet. To steal a phrase from the American Cancer Society, it's about celebration, remembering, and fighting back. 4 of the individuals that you see in the movie are not with us. That's the remembering. Kathy, who's featured here and 2 years ago was the recipient of the Above and Beyond Cancer Award, died of her cancer 2 years ago. She remained the most actively involved person in Above and Beyond Cancer, coming to spin class every single day, even after her disease had caused her to lose use of both of her legs and one of her arms. She would sit in the front row of spin class. We had a hand crank, and she would participate in spin class up until 2 weeks before she died. Also in the movie, you saw Karen Parman, who survived breast cancer and died a year and a half ago of pancreas cancer. You saw Bobby Irving, who had survived stage 4 tonsil cancer and died of a stroke about 3 years ago. And you saw Lynette Ritchie, who had a long, just courageous journey with cancer, with twists and turns and ups and downs. And she died of cancer about 2 years ago. And that's part of why having an organization that can deal with the physical, psychological, emotional, philosophical, spiritual dimensions of what it means to have gone through cancer and be a cancer survivor, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. But it's not just about remembering, it's then about fighting back. And the fighting back is getting involved, getting off your butt and living a life that you would like to have be a biography. It's about finding joy in your own life and spreading joy. It's about illuminating the path of others. And it's about advocating. So we at Above and Beyond Cancer work with American Cancer Society, Cancer Action Network, the lobby of cancer survivors, and we go up to the state capitol every year. We go out to Washington, D.C. every year. So please get involved in Above and Beyond Cancer. Join American Cancer Society, Cancer Action Network for $10 and be an advocate. Be part of the fighting back. Advocate for public health policy to eliminate radon as a threat. Advocate for public health policy that will give access so everyone can have access to the latest testing and the best treatment. And with that, I'll get off my soapbox and I'll ask everybody who was with us in Everest in 2011, come on up. So these courageous people said, sure, we'll go with you. And the winner of the Above and Beyond Cancer, the team that went to Everest, come on up. Hey, Vivi was a Brit. She's in France, and she's joining us from France. Vivi, welcome. Come on. Everybody come up. We got an award here. Here, you hold Vivi. Hi, Vivi.
Hey, baby, I'm holding you.
Okay, we'll come down.
Sorry.
We'll do a picture afterwards. We'll just get everybody on stage here first. Let's see. We got 3 hours left, right? Everybody gets a half-hour speech. So, really, this is 29 folks, 14 cancer survivors, 15 caregivers on probably the most amazing journey ever. And this is them. So give it up. This is in honor of the 2011 team that began Above and Beyond Cancer. This is in your honor. This will be hanging forever in the Above and Beyond Cancer offices as soon as we get offices. And we actually have a honor office compliments of our chairman of the board, Chuck Cutler, but this will forever be in our office. You guys, you started it all. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Kelly Shaw, I am lost. I think I turn it back over to you. Yeah, and then you tell people how they do wrestling for the book and how they buy the book. And before I step off, I just want to thank everyone for coming. And I hope I get a chance to chat with many of you. And if I don't get a chance to chat with you, know that I really appreciate and the board. And before I start saying thank yous with names that I'll leave half a dozen off, I'm going to leave. But Tim did ask me to tell an Ole and Lena joke. He thought that would be, no, we won't do that. That's the King of Joy. And over to our master of ceremonies, mistress of ceremonies, Kelly Shaw.
All right, so I want to thank everybody for being here today. Oh, well, I mean, it was kind of fun to watch. I want to thank everybody for being here today on behalf of Above and Beyond Cancer. It's really great to see everybody here to support and to celebrate all of these amazing people that are part of Above and Beyond Cancer. I have to say, and having a trip myself, man, it's like family. And just hearing their story, even though I wasn't there, it still get choked up because I know the journey that some of them have been on. So I don't want to cry. That wasn't even part of it. It's not my script. All right, the book. My husband is a wrestler, kind of a pro wrestler, he seems to think, and he's ready to wrestle anybody that wants to buy this book. So that in itself should get everybody to buy one. It's really great. It's a great gift to give everybody. I also want to say for some of the stuff that's coming up, one of my favorite things, I know I'm not allowed to really talk about programs, but I'm going to, is the fur ride. And I have to say that it's Mary and I that seem to do the stinking fur ride every year. And we are the only ones that are on the trail crashing, running into things, and we're about dead by the time we get there. So this year, I think she's made it a little bit easier. Is that right, Mary? Yeah. So I would challenge everybody to be on that ride because it is a lot of fun. So we can't do this without your donations and sponsorships. And I want to thank also some great people. Oh, let me see here. I want to thank our sponsors, Mission Cancer and Blood. You guys are awesome. That's where I was at. Thank you for all you did for me and for so many others. Rob and Kelly Real Estate Team. I'll leave that to my business partner, Rob. Although I am the queen of the group, just so everybody knows. Let me see, I want to get this right. I don't want to mess it up. The radioactive radon, or Citizens for Radioactive Radon Reduction. And they did bring a lot of materials that are back on this back table that anybody can take. And being in real estate, I can tell you radon is just a huge thing, and everybody really needs to pay attention to it. I think that's all I've got. So there's envelopes on your table for any donations that you want to give. There is the amazing book with amazing photography. I'll sign it if you want, if that helps. Otherwise, everybody go on about your day, and thank you so very much for being here. Have a good day.